Hey there, it is Jeff, and I am back with what I learned. I'm 3 weeks in and some change into marriage, and I'm just here to tell you what I've learned. Alright, there's a couple things I've learned already. One, my bride is a YouTube critic. Immediately after the first one aired, I was told about just my tone, and I should be more excited. And then also, man, she was making plans for backdrops and everything else. And so there you go. So I've married a YouTube critic, and she's all about trying to do this again. But she wants to be in on it too. She knew about it, but she wants to be in on it too. So we're gonna let her do some story time. We're gonna let her do some other stuff too. So be looking forward to that. I know I am. Let's see, what else have I learned about my wife? One of the things I've learned about marriage is it's one thing to kind of see her Netflix watching from afar, but it's another thing to be in the same room as it. So those forensic files things and those snapped documentaries or whatever they are, where the wife snaps and kills the husband or whatever, they're all cute when they're afar, but it's another thing when you see the narration and hear the narration in your own room, in your own house, and you're like, hold on, maybe we should have a discussion about this. Are you subliminally doing some things that I should be concerned about? So I learned that this week. Another thing I've learned in my 3 weeks of marriage is that my body heat is useful in bed at night until it suddenly isn't. There's a fine line for usefulness till furnace. I don't know what the difference is, but sometimes she's all about cuddling and being close, and other times it's get away from me, I'm warm. So it's kind of hit and miss there, but I've learned that. What else have I learned? I have learned pronouns are acceptable any time in a conversation, mostly at the beginning. So she will start conversations like this. Did she give the thing to you? And I will be like, who's she? And what's the thing? Or she will start off by going, I can't believe he told her that. And that's the start of a conversation. I don't know he or her or that or anything. But she's been having this conversation in her head for a while, so she assumes that I should know what she is in fact talking about. I learned this while dating, so this might be kind of cheating, but the next thing I learned is my food really isn't my food, it's our food. Her food is always going to be her food, but my food is always going to be our food. Clever tip, guys. Start ordering things that she might not want to eat. If you're hungry and you really don't want to order extra food, just order things. For instance, at Dairy Queen, she hates chocolate ice cream. I order all of my Blizzards with chocolate ice cream. What else have I learned? I've learned that nothing can stay decorated for more than a day the way it's currently decorated. I come in and I see a clock on one wall, and that's fine. I'm pro clock. That's good. But then all of a sudden the next day the clock is on a different wall, and then a picture is there, or there's fake books on a shelf, and I'm not even sure what's going on anymore. But I've learned that. What else have I learned? I've learned there is some sort of pillow ratio that is now in this household that I wasn't familiar with before. Before, my pillow ratio was essentially 1-to-1. I needed one pillow to sleep at night. I used one pillow to sleep at night. Now there are 11 pillows in my room, and 5 are in my bed. I don't know why. 11 start on the bed most nights. 5 stay in the bed, and there are just certain pillows that aren't used for sleeping. They're just there. They're just there. Another thing I've learned is that there's no such thing as a 5-second rule. I always joked that there was no such thing, but that's for like dry foods or just if I was really hungry or whatever. Turns out it applies for ice cream. I didn't know that, and so I have like the get out of jail free card whenever I pick something off, blow it off the dust and dirt, and consume it because of this video right here.
I clean these floors, so I'm hoping.
Alright, it's time for a new segment. It's the question of the week. The question this week is, does your spouse bring food to bed? Alright, so the answer to this question for me, since I'm asking it, is yes. Yes, she does. Last week she brought in a piece of toast, a freezy, and a hot pack into bed one night. A freezy and a hot pack. She had no intentions of eating the hot pack, but why would you need a freezy if you're cold? Alright. Other times she's brought cereal, hot chocolate, whatever. So, yes. Yes. If I were to answer that question, does your spouse bring food into bed? The answer is yes. This week's story time is going to be interesting. We went kayaking this past week. We bought kayaks with some of our wedding money as our fun gift to ourselves. And one of the things I learned is, man, it is hard to spread blame around or take responsibility when you're mad. But it's an important lesson to learn, I think. So here's what happened. We bought kayaks and we were going to go from the Mill Pond to Nest Lake. And so we're in and we dropped one vehicle off at the landing zone and we were going to launch from the Mill Pond area in New London. And we start going and Summer had parked my Equinox at the end, and I borrowed my dad's truck and we had unloaded everything, and the last time I'd seen my Equinox keys was with Summer, and I had seen her put them into a case, and I just figured that was that. So we're about maybe a mile in, and Summer is behind me in her kayak and goes, "Hey, do you have your Equinox keys?" And I thought she was joking. I thought, no, why would I have my Equinox keys? I know you have my Equinox keys. So I was just going to blow her off and keep going. Turns out she did not have my Equinox keys, and I did not have my Equinox keys. And so it was really easy for me to be really upset. But at the same time, I hadn't double checked that, you know, and so it was really easy for me internally to blame her and even kind of externally to blame her. But it also wasn't completely fair to do that because it does take two people to communicate. And so I learned that this week, and that is the story of the week. So after paddling back upstream and her getting out and running probably about a half mile to go get the keys from the truck, and me internally cussing multiple times, that was something I learned this weekend. That is the story of this week. We eventually made it through the kayaking adventure. It was a longer trip than what it had to be, not just because of her, but it was just long for our first time doing it. Neither of us had done that route or kayaked. I hadn't kayaked for years, but I was fine, but it got to be a pretty long trip, especially when you had to double back a little bit. But that's the story of the week. So thank you for all the feedback. One of the great things about posting these has been the Me Too's we've gotten in the comment sections, and then also just knowing, like, one, we're not alone, but also if you're watching this and you're married and you have some stories to tell or just some frustrations, you're not alone either. Man, I'm by no means an expert at this, obviously, but part of the reason we're doing this is to kind of share the adventure. Alright, so thank you very much for watching, and we'll catch you next time.